What's going on, guys? So this is Nash Bueller. I'm here today to rank the builders on a builder tier list for the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And we're gonna be doing it from S to F. So we're gonna start out with the S. It's gonna be the top tier. So this is gonna be the people that I would recommend pretty much by and large, doesn't matter where we're talking about. A is gonna be the people that I would recommend in most all scenarios. I like these a lot, but it's also gonna depend from neighborhood to neighborhood on who you have available for these builders. So B, good builder. Solid builder. I like them a lot. C, okay, but we're gonna have some difficulties here and there. So then we're gonna start getting down to the D and F. D, depends on the scenario. I'm not gonna say no to them, but depends on what we're talking about. So you're gonna see as we go through this, we're gonna rank them all the way from top to bottom. You're gonna get them kind of piecemeal all the way through. So right out of the gun, we're gonna start off with we're gonna call this one an A. So this is gonna be David Weekley. Actually probably one of the bigger builders. Most people know them from all the way around the country. They're all over the place. They're one of the larger mass production companies. We've dealt with David Weekley for years and years. I mean, we've been doing this now for 40 years, and I think we've had David Weekley around for most of that. They build a great home. They kind of range in price ranges. So if you're looking at entry level up to kind of your upper mid level, even in kind of lower luxury end, you're gonna find David Weekley or one of their higher off brands. Really can't say anything more than just that they build a good solid product. Customer service is pretty good. Really like them a lot. So we're gonna go with David Weekley in A. Our next builder. So we're gonna go with probably not my very favorite, but we're gonna say probably number 2 spot on this list. So we're gonna jump off with some good ones here right off the rip. Perry Homes. Can't really say enough about them. We, especially at our office, we love Perry Homes. We've done a lot of business with them. I've done a lot of contracts with a lot of their reps. Incredible customer service. I've worked with multiple communities that they've done around the DFW Metroplex. They build a beautiful home, great finish out. Really in a very, very reasonable price point. They're not crazy high end. They're definitely not gonna be your entry level. They're definitely gonna be kind of more in that mid. You're looking probably more upper 5s at the low end, probably more 6s now, up to $1 million, depending on what, property you're looking at. Now, with Perry, we're gonna call Britain attached to Perry. Britain is gonna be their luxury end, so that's gonna be their 8-9 million plus builder. But again, we love Perry. They do a great job. They make sure that the job gets done and is done right. If you have any problems, they fix them immediately. So really, like I said, just can't say enough about Perry. Next, so we're gonna be dropping down the list a little bit. MI Homes. Done a few deals with MI. So maybe putting them low C, high D. We'll call it low C. MI Homes, they build a decent entry-level product. They're gonna be kind of one of those mass production companies that you're gonna see, along with like the CB Jennings, the DR Hortons, Pointe, so kind of more of that lower price point for entry-level buyers. They build a very affordable home for the most part. They have increased their price point quite a bit. My biggest concern or issue that I had with MI is in some of the transactions we've done with them, home was nice enough, finish route was nice, I liked it, it was a pretty home. Floor plan was decent, but customer service is not very good. Build quality left a little to be desired. There were some issues during the build process. They forgot to add a whole bonus room, which changed the pitch of the roof. So they had to go hack the whole roof off and replace it. They forgot to add a fireplace in the family room. So we're talking kind of some major structural issues that they had to go. And to be fair, they did fix them. It took a little bit of kind of pushing and prodding, but they did get it done. But again, that's one of those, they're a builder who, a lot of builders get a bad reputation of having problems and either fixing them or not, or issues coming up during the build. This would be one of those that if you go that route, I like them. I would say absolutely they're a good entry-level builder, but you want to make sure you're doing your walks, and that's why when you hire an agent like us, we're walking the property, making sure that as we go through that process that, everything is kind of looking the way that it should as they build. So I'd give them, like I said, low C, high D. All right, next up, we're gonna have another kind of entry-level mass production company. It's gonna be Meritage. I like Meritage. Really can't say really any one way or the other. They build a good product. Customer service is pretty good. Pretty affordable price point. So I'm gonna put them, had some issues here and there. Affordability is kind of the nice feature. I'm gonna go high C. pushing low B, but I'm gonna say high C for Meritage. Like I said, good affordability. I can't dog on them too much, but I mean, their finish out does kind of leave a little bit to be desired. Again, they're kind of one of those mass production where you kind of get what you pay for of similar floor plans and all that. So next up, we're gonna have Bloomfield. This is actually I want to say newer. It's not necessarily newer, but newer to me. I've worked with them a couple of times here in the last few years. I thought they did a great job. They were kind of that upper entry to mid-level builder. Built a very pretty home for the price point. Customer service was incredible. They did a great job. They made sure to follow up with the client a lot. They kept us in the loop at all times. They updated us to the stages. So I'm going to give Bloomfield a solid A. I think they did a really good job. Client was very happy with the home. I think they had a couple of issues that popped up during that first year of the home warranty, and Bloomfield was real quick to correct that, so that's always nice to see. And then next is going to be a builder that actually I just recently worked with, just this last year, and really loved their homes. We actually toured some on our page a little earlier this year. If you want to go check those out on the affordable under 300. Pointe, for the very much an entry-level builder, and for that entry level, I would say pound for pound, probably one of the best finish outs I've seen at that price point. I jokingly tell people a lot of times when we're dealing with builders, and especially at the entry level, you get, I call it the touch test. So, you'll look at the pictures online and you see the finish out and you're like, oh, this looks great. And then you go and you open the cabinets and then they clang and it's just cheap pressed board. I thought Pointe did a very good job of kind of blending those two, of still being affordable, but having a slightly nicer finish out where it didn't feel cheap, which is tough because that's, like I said, to kind of maintain those profit margins and be able to run it can be difficult. But they, like I said, they do a good job. Was very happy with their customer service. The sales reps there, again, very open and communicated with us regularly, which was great. So I'm gonna give Pointe, just like Bloomfield, a solid A. All right, so now, unfortunately, for our first D of the list, it's gonna have to be Taylor Morrison. We don't have a lot in the D category, and again, this is not just off of experiences I've had with clients, with personal testimonies of their experiences. We've worked with Taylor Morrison in the past. I can't say it's not awful. All these builders are good builders, and I think at the end of the day, I think it's still better to buy a home than to continue renting, unless you're not in the right situation. But I would say Taylor Morrison is probably one of the lower ones as far as client experience. Price to finish out. Now, they do have a decent finish out. I would say it's better than some of the other entry-level builders because they're more of that mid-tier now. They're actually kind of bumping up in price. But I would say for what you spend to versus what you get, I don't think they're going to be, up there. Communication was not great on the interactions that we've had. So, like I said, going to have to put them at D. The next one. So this one, I really want to give this one D, just for the hot take sake. Low C, D. They're right there on the cusp. We're gonna have to decide on this. This may be a game time decision on this one. Might be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm gonna say Toll Brothers. Used to love Toll Brothers. Really, they do build. They have some very nice finishes. But the biggest issue I have with Toll Brothers now is their prices continue to go up and up and up and up, and they just build big boxes. It's very generic, it's very cookie cutter, given the price point that they're in. So, where you can drive down the street and see like, oh, floor plan A, floor plan B, floor plan C, floor plan A. But it is very generic, and the joke I always tell clients is if you're building with Toll Brothers, they will nickel and dime you on everything. Everything is an upgrade. Like, do you want door handles on your doors? Okay, great, that's gonna be an extra $5,000. Do you want your toilets to actually flush? That's going to be an extra $3,000. Everything is an upgrade, so it does become very difficult. So they're one that I definitely warn when they say starting in, because that's usually how builders advertise their neighborhoods, is they'll say starting at 500s. Well, then you have to realize, typically I tell people you're going to spend probably 10 to 20% of whatever your base price is in upgrades at the design center. It's probably going to be a little bit more with Toll Brothers, so just kind of go into that knowing. So again, like I'm saying, this is going to be a tough one. We'll have to see where we put it on the actual tier list, but I'm going to say D to C, somewhere right around there. So now, this one popped up pretty quick. We had to just randomize all these builders, so we weren't going in any particular order. My number one, my favorite, so top of the S tier, going to be Highland Homes. This is one, I can't really brag on them enough. I love Highland Homes. They do an absolutely fantastic job. Every one of their sales reps I've ever dealt with is incredibly knowledgeable about the product, knows all upcoming neighborhoods, is very happy to, even if they don't get the sale, say, hey, this may be a better fit for you guys at this other development we have coming up. And they even will give us some information about those neighborhoods. So I think they do a very good job about knowing their product and then being able to translate that to what the client needs. And that's very helpful for us. Beautiful home. And this is one of those pound for pound, I think one of the better production builders in the sense of what you get for your money and the finish out that you get because it's a little higher end. They're expensive, but they build a very nice home. They're like almost a borderline, semi-custom to custom builder as far as their finish out goes. So definitely top tier S. All right, so the next couple, we actually got a couple here in the B category. First one's gonna be, and this actually might be a little bit of a hot take on this. A lot of people tend to this is kind of like the very stereotypical builder to dog on. And I'm going to kind of give both pros and cons on this and kind of tell you why I think, why I have them where I have them. D.R. Horton. So D.R. Horton we're going to have I'm going to put them at B. And the reason I say that is you got to go in knowing what you're paying for. So there is kind of a caveat to that. And I think that's where some people might put it at more of like a, C category. But I think D.R. Horton is a lot of bang for your buck on size of home, decent floor plans. As far as location goes, they're, one of the more affordable builders in each of the, cities or areas they build here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And they do build, it's a very nice looking finish out. Now, here's kind of the flip side to that. And this is where I will say the caveat is D.R. Horton, they don't stand up to the touch test. It is one of those that they do build I don't want to say cheaper product because that sounds, mean, but it's you get what you pay for when it's a very affordable entry-level builder. You do get some of those. It's not, it's not going to be your solid core doors. Obviously, not many of these builders on this list are going to have that, but a little bit more flimsy, a little bit more prone to seeing issues pop up a little bit sooner than some other builders that you might see as far as the longevity of a home. But if you're somebody who is a first-time home buyer who might be a little spoiled with the apartments that you guys are living in, because trust me, I've been there. I lived in apartments for a long time, and it does get difficult when you're going from an apartment and saying, hey, now I want to spend $350,000, $400,000 on a new home, and then we go out and we look at those $350,000 and $400,000 homes, and it's a little alarming and a little bit of a culture shock when you walk into them. But D.R. Horton does build a home. You get your stainless steel finishes, granite or marble, the custom looking cabinetry. So it does have a very nice polished finish. So I'm going to give, like I said, D.R. Horton, and also customer service. D.R. Horton, the customer service is incredible. And in my personal opinion, probably what pushes them from that C to the B is going to be their client interaction. And like I said, they do a fantastic job there. So D.R. Horton, very middle of the road B. So the next one, again, here, this is, I had them at A. I bumped them down more to like a high B. I think it's more just to do with where I've seen their prices trend recently and the finishes kind of still being where they were. And that's Ashton Woods. I like Ashton Woods. I have nothing against them. And like I said, they're right there on the cusp from A to B. So I kind of bumped them down to B only because I saw their prices have jumped quite a bit because their finishes are very nice looking. They have a lot of cosmetic upgrades to them that look very pretty. But I kind of put them, like the high B, low A. Customer service is great. I haven't seen them build a ton here recently. They haven't, with the last recession back in 2010 to 2011-ish, right around the 2007 to 2011. Toll Brothers went around and bought everything. They bought all the land here in North Texas. So I see Toll Brothers neighborhoods all over the place. I haven't seen as much Ashton Woods. I saw them a few years ago, but haven't seen them built quite as much as some of the other builders. But like I said, if that's in that option, I would plan to put them kind of somewhere in that $500,000 to $700,000 range. They do build a nice home, a little bit lower end finish out, more entry-level finish out as far as the touch test like I talked about. But they do a great job, and the customer service is great. So like I said, I'm going to go high B on them, pushing low A. Our next one in the D category, unfortunately, Lennar. Lennar is a tough one. They're kind of in that same grouping as CB Jennings, D.R. Horton, Megatel. I don't even think we have Megatel on this list, but Megatel, MI to some degree, kind of lower end MI. As far as the very entry-level builder, I would say Lennar is even entry level. I personally, just client experience, my personal experience, Lennar used to do a very good job, used to have a very great push for customer service. I don't know what's happened, but in the last, 5, 6, 7 years, I've not had a single positive interaction with Lennar. It's been very combative and lack of communication. It's just been tough. It's been a tough one. And I've seen their finish outs get lower and lower and lower, where you're just really seeing a product that, now granted, you are paying probably the lowest price point on this list of any builder is probably going to be Lennar. So, you do get, I guess, technically the most house for your money, but I can just say, as far as like the customer service and client interaction that I've had with them, it's not been the best. So I think they probably put them even a little bit lower than Taylor Morrison. So yeah, bottom of the D. I was wrong. I stand corrected. Megatel is next up on the list. As I just said, we don't have them. The randomizer popped up and told me Megatel. So here we are. Megatel. Again, this is another one of those, and these are always tough to rank because when you have your entry-level builders, we're seeing new construction prices jump. So there is kind of, it's a tougher pill to swallow when you're seeing the price points for these homes versus the finish out. So when I walk into again, to use some of these again, CB Jennings, Megatel, DR Horton, I walk into these homes and I'm going, oh yeah, this is a $150,000, $200,000 home 8, 10 years ago. But that's not what prices are anymore. So I would say Megatel kind of falls to that as far as entry-level builder, slightly lower finish out, looks nice, picture shows great, decent floor plans, some decent neighborhoods. I've liked some of the communities that they've done. So really, this isn't, unfortunately, I'm going to put them in the C category. They're not a bad builder. I like Megatel. I think the difference between like them and like a DR Horton is going to be your client interaction. Megatel, although not being bad, just didn't quite go above and beyond as far as the interactions we've had with them, like we see with like DR Horton. So yeah, I'm going to put them right there in the C category. And to kind of piggyback off of that one, we're going to go with CB Jennings. So CB Jennings is another one of those, like we talked about, kind of entry-level builders, lower end, right there again in the C category. And very much like Megatel, actually I see Megatel and CB Jennings building in a lot of the same neighborhoods. You'll usually see them side by side. Decent floor plans, pretty finish outs. Again, very similar to Megatel. And the only thing that separated them from DR Horton, again, is going to be the customer service that we've seen with them in client interactions. Again, not bad, not quite over the top, kind of push them from that very generic entry-level builder up to like, they kind of stood out above the rest. So again, solid C, nothing against them. I think they build a decent home, especially for that entry-level price point. And then now we're going to go bump up just a little bit on this one, Beazer. So Beazer is actually going to jump up in price just a little bit. Builds a little bit nicer home. I'm not going to say semi-custom, but going to see more of those finishes. We've really had great interactions with them as far as, like we talked about, client, customer service interaction. So as far as that goes, I would say that they do a very good job. I like them a lot. So Beazer, we're going to put right there, solid B. All right, we got 2 more for the list. So we're going to do, the first one we're going to say American Legends. This is another one that was kind of tough for me because I like American Legends a lot. They're a builder that I personally would definitely use given the price point and the finish outs. So I'm going to put them low, we're going to go low A. I had them at B. I'm going to bump them up to low A. I like them. Again, this is another one. Their sales reps have done a great job. They're very knowledgeable, helpful. They communicate well, and floor plans are nice. They've been in some great communities. Finish out is solid for the price. Nothing crazy high end, but they do a good job. So all in all, really, I like American Legends. They do a good job. So we're gonna give them a solid A. Another one here in the A category. Where they fall in the A category is a little tougher. I'd probably put them kind of mid to top of the A. The difficult thing is comparing them to some of these other builders is a little tough because it's Coventry. So Coventry they build a beautiful home, but they're definitely going to be one of those higher end. Now I say higher end, that's relative. Upper mid tier to lower, luxury as far as your price point goes. But they build a beautiful home, great floor plans, and builder reps are great. And really can't say. Really nothing, no cons to Coventry. They are a mass production company, so you will see some of those kind of cutting corners here and there. just like you're going to see with a lot of builders outside of your custom builders that you're going to see. But they build a nice home, very pretty finishes. Just going to be on the higher end. So that would be the only negative, would be compared to some of these other builders, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. So solid A, mid to upper tier A. So thank you guys for sticking to the end. If y'all have any questions on any of the builders here, make sure to put a comment below. Or if you guys have questions about any builders that you guys might be thinking about, I think we're gonna do a custom builder video here in the future, so keep an eye out for that one. But if y'all have any questions about building your dream home, make sure to give us a call below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.